That night, after the twins had finally fallen asleep, Mama Rosa sat down in the small parlor. She knew Tenny had a lot to say. Rosa sat directly opposite her best friend, while her brother, Toby, had gone out to play games with his friends at a nearby game center. Mama Rosa, I can never thank you enough, Tenny began, her voice soft. 4 years ago was the darkest time of my life. I found out I was pregnant right after the divorce. I had no money, no job, and I didn't even know the man who got me pregnant. Rosa's eyes filled with tears as she listened. But the doctor at the clinic, Dr. Lanre, was like an angel, Tenny continued. He introduced me to his foster parents who live in London. They agreed to help me. That's why I traveled without telling you. I was scared and confused. Dr. Lanre's mother even helped me as a nanny so I could work and save money. Tenny smiled as she thought of her journey. I worked hard for 3 years. Then, Dr. Larry helped me secure a big job back here in Lagos. I've been hired as the executive designer for the Dantata Group. That is why I'm back. Teniola, you should have at least called us, Rosa sighed, wiping her eyes. I thought maybe we offended you, but I am happy you kept those beautiful boys. They are your greatest blessing. Mama Rosa nodded in agreement. God is good. You didn't do abort, and now look at you. You are a great mother already. Tenny then told them she wouldn't be staying long. Dr. Larry recommended a house for me in Lekki. I want to go and see it tomorrow and move in before I start work the next day. Rosa laughed. Abeg, let me go with you. I don't want you to just disappear with my nephews again. They all laughed, and Mama Rosa eventually went to bed, leaving the two friends to gist. So, what about that your boyfriend? Tenny asked. Rosa's smile dropped. She sighed deeply. My sister, he was seeing someone else behind my back. One day, he just took me to lunch and told me it was over. He said he didn't love me anymore. I almost died of heartbreak. Tenny held Rosa's hand. Don't cry, Jari. The bad ones have to leave so the good ones can enter. Look at me. I am done with men. My life is just for my children now. Love doesn't exist for me anymore. Don't say that, Rosa countered. One day, a man will love you and those boys more than you can imagine. After they said good night, Tenny lay awake in the dark. She thought about Segun and Tiwa. She assumed they were living happily in the mansion they stole from her. She remembered how her father used to treat her and Tiwa like twins, buying them the same clothes and toys. It was that woman, Molly. She poisoned Tiwa's mind because of money. Tenny fell asleep, believing her enemies were enjoying her wealth, but she didn't know that things were actually falling apart for Segun and Tiwa. Segun was a tired man. For 4 years, he and Tiwa had been married, but the house was silent. There were no children running around. Segun was exhausted from the pressure. He felt like he was just performing a duty, and he wanted to be left alone. Why are you acting like this? Tiwa asked one night, trying to hug him. We need to be together more if we want a child. This is the right time for me to conceive. Segun pushed her hand away. Are you going to force me? I want to sleep. Don't disturb me, or I will leave this room and sleep on the sofa. He was frustrated. He felt he was wasting his energy on a woman who couldn't give him a child. Tiwa turned her back to him, crying silently. She had tracked her ovulation and even tried IVF twice, but both times failed. She couldn't believe Segun was becoming so cold toward her. I have to tell his mother, Tiwa thought. She needs to talk sense into her son. The next morning, Segun acted as if nothing happened. He gave Tiwa a small peck on the chin and left for work. As soon as he was gone, Tiwa took her car keys and drove to Mrs. Balogun's house in Surulere. Mrs. Balogun welcomed her warmly. How is my Segun? When am I carrying my grandchild? Tiwa sighed deeply. Mama, that is why I am here. Segun is avoiding me. He doesn't want to be intimate anymore. How can I get pregnant if he won't touch me? Mrs. Balogun frowned. She knew her son didn't have a side chick, so why was he acting up? She wanted a grandchild more than anything. Don't worry, my daughter, she assured Tiwa. I will handle him. Go home and prepare yourself for tonight. He will be ready for you. Tiwa smiled, relieved. She knew Segun couldn't disobey his mother. As soon as Tiwa left, Mrs. Balogun called Segun and told him to meet her for a late lunch at a popular restaurant on the island. Meanwhile, Tenny was out with Rosa and Dr. Larry. They had just finished looking at a beautiful apartment in a gated estate. Tenny loved it. It was perfect for her and the twins. She paid the rent, signed the papers, and felt a huge weight lift off her shoulders. Larry, meet my best friend Rosa, Tenny said, finally introducing them properly. Larry shook Rosa's hand, smiling warmly. It's a pleasure, Rosa. Let's go and eat to celebrate, Larry suggested. They drove to a high-end restaurant, the same one Mrs. Balogun had chosen for her meeting with Segun. Tenny, Rosa, and Larry were sitting at a table, laughing and talking about the future. A few tables away, Mrs. Balogun was already waiting. She happened to look up and froze. Her eyes widened in shock. Is that Tenny Ola? She hadn't seen Tenny since the day she dragged her by the hair 4 years ago. Tenny looked different, rich, glowing, and happy. Mrs. Balogun felt a sudden wave of guilt and fear. She wanted to stand up and leave, but just then, Segun walked in and sat down opposite her. Mama, you said it was urgent, Segun said, noticing his mother looked pale. Mrs. Balogun didn't speak. She just tapped his arm and pointed toward the table where Tenny was sitting with a handsome man. Segun turned his head. His heart skipped a beat as his eyes landed on the woman he had once thrown away like trash.